Roll call.
Mayor Connie Ball,
Here.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit,
Here.
Alderman Jeff Fancher,
Here.
Alderman Roger Gribble,
Here.
Alderman Mike Hansel,
Here.
Alderman Bobby Knight,
Here.
City Attorney Terry Hurst,
Here.
City Administrator James Fincham.
Here.
Thank you. Item 3 is the approval of the minutes of the December the 8th, 2015 meeting. You've had those to look at. Is there any corrections, additions, or do we have a motion to approve as written?
I so move.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. We have nothing to discuss under item 4. Item 5, correspondence from City Administrator James Fincham.
Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome.
The first thing that I have is that it's time now to hear from our auditor. The audit is done. It came in, we feel like it came in really good. The auditor's very pleased. He did, in the meeting he had with Tina and I, he said a lot of positive things. Of course, it's not perfect. You never get a perfect audit. But do need to let you all decide what is your pleasure. Would you like to have Frank come to the regular meeting in February, or would you like to set a workshop for him to come? And then we would have to probably get with him to get some dates that would work for him. But we just, in the next, sometime between now and through February, we need to hear from him, and it's up to you guys if you want to listen during a regular meeting or you want to have a call workshop to dedicate to that.
What do y'all think? Workshop?
Workshop.
Okay.
If we will get some dates, and then we'll get in contact with y'all and work it out, and then we'll publicize it.
Okay.
James, can we get a copy of those before we have the meeting, so we'll have some idea exactly what's there, rather than trying to absorb all that at
we
one
usually
period?
have them before the meeting, don't
We
we?
usually do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have them available before.
We could have,
Yeah.
we could have
We'll
a few
ask
days
him to
before the meeting.
get those to us as quickly as he can.
Okay, thank you.
An update on the safe routes for schools, which is the sidewalks up around the grammar school. I'd like to report that we have finally got those things rolling, where we're right on the verge of being able to start taking bids for construction. Gary, since coming in, has worked really hard on that. It's been languishing since 2008, I think. And of course, it was begun by the planning department, and the planner left, and that position had been empty since. And Tim's tried to keep them moving along, and we've had a lot of challenges. Terry's been heavily involved in it. About every kind of a stumbling block you could run into, we've had with that. But I am pleased to say that Gary has come in and got those things. I listened to him. He's right across the hall from me, and I heard him pleading our case with the state. They had pretty much gotten to the point they were going to write us off on it. And he pled our case to them, and they've given us a year to get that done. And we are now on schedule. He's got that thing ready to go, and he's done a good job with it. And I'm confident we're going to see probably groundbreaking before summer for sure. But that sound about right, Gary? So any questions y'all may have about that, I'm sure he'd be glad to answer. But I can report that is finally looking like it's going to actually happen after all this time.
Good deal.
James, will that affect the traffic problem that we have on the streets surrounding the grammar school?
No, it's just strictly sidewalks. It's just it will not affect the traffic pattern in any way. It's just sidewalks. It's called safe routes, so children can have a sidewalk to walk on to go to school on. Not the streets are not affected, other than that they'll now have a new sidewalk along them.
I don't know how many people's up there, but that's a dangerous situation in the afternoons from school.
Morning too.
In the mornings.
I appreciate that police presence there on all the corners. That looks.
And I tell you, boy, it's a dangerous situation where they back up, particularly on College, all the way back to Woodlawn, and then people try to get over in the left lane, and then they meet somebody coming back down. I mean, it's something we really need to look, we need to have a planner to take a look at, see if there's anything we can do about that.
We have, and since I've worked for the city, and I came in '81, that's been an issue up there. And the solution that we've had so far is just for the police to go up there, because we've done it as long as I can remember, is send the police up there to try to slow people down, write tickets, be on, like Mr. Fancher said, kind of just be on every corner around the area and try to slow them down and direct traffic. At times, if it gets really congested, they get out and direct the traffic. So, but yeah, that's something we could look at trying to control. And I think there's been different experimentation done over the years where that we change the traffic patterns when school's letting out. There's times that you can only turn right when you come out of the parking lot, and we've done some tweaks along traffic patterns, the traffic flow, to try to address that. But you just get so overwhelmed with the number of cars that are coming in there in a short period of time that there's really not a good solution. There's no way to build bigger streets and more streets, and
they don't have any property that around the school there that could be used as a holding area for people when they're picking students up.
Well, about everything that's there they utilize. They have people parked in the back and the sides and the lower end, and I mean it's full. Everything up there's full. The parking lots are, because you don't have a public or like a school bus. Everybody has to come by vehicle or walk, right. And you really don't have very many walking. You have some, but almost all, I'm say 98% come in by vehicle. Right. And so when you have that many vehicles coming in a short period of time, you're limited in what you can actually do. But I mean, we're always open to looking to see, if someone could come up with an idea, and I'll be glad to let Gary look at it and see if he, can envision any kind of something.
Maybe UT would take that on as a project in one of their classes.
Yeah, it's a possibility. We'll explore and see what options are out there.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Also, just to announce right now, we don't have a date and time yet, but it is our plan to have a second public hearing in February on blighted properties. We had one, some of y'all attended a few months back. I thought we had a lot of good input. I kind of thought the turnout would be better. But the folks that were here, a lot of them were very vocal and had a lot of good points and some ideas, and I thought we had a lot of good stuff come out of that. And so we're going to have a second one in February, and we will announce that date and time later on, but just wanted to start getting that word out there so people could be thinking about it and be aware that it's coming. It serves a dual purpose. Of course, one is to help us to find out how the public feels and where the problems are that they see, so we can focus on those, because you've got so many different things that you're working on. You want to focus on the worst first. And so it helps you identify those. But secondly, again, for information purposes, when we were at the governor's conference last year, I tasked Gary with going to those seminars that were on downtown revitalization, looking at trying to find some grant money to do some things. And all these hearings are prerequisites that are required by the state, that if you want to try to get grant money down the road, you have to do these hearings to identify your problems, to get the public's input. So it serves a dual purpose. We are getting good information out of it that we can use ourselves, but it is also meeting the criteria that the state has to get us in position to be able to apply for some grant money to try to do some things in downtown. So it serves a dual purpose, and so that's something that I've got, that Gary's working on, and that's a high priority for us. I know it is for some of you guys. Mr. Hansel, that was one of his big things during the election, was wanting to try to do, help the businesses, and so we're working towards that goal.
I've seen some differences in what's going on to see that Gary and Mark are telling, and y'all who are working on. Thank you. I've seen difference. I've seen people begin to clean up their place a little bit. I just appreciate it.
Well, we've had, and I'm not going to point any fingers to any individual or a property, but, we have stepped up on pressure, enforcement on these things, just like I hear it just like y'all do from the public, that the public wants stuff cleaned up, we want stuff cleaned up, and so now we're taking heat from the property owners. I had one a while back told me that he wished I had to run for office so he could vote against me. Because Mark had written him a citation over some of his properties. So,
We probably all get that. I know I do.
So-
Mark had the best solution. The people that told him, said, if you don't like the way our property looks, just don't look at it. So I never said, turn your head. Thank you, that's all, go ahead.
But anyway, but we are making progress. We are making that a priority. I know sometimes it may look like that we're not making headway, but we absolutely are. I can, again, I'm not going to get into pointing at properties, but I can show you properties where buildings have been torn down, where properties have been cleaned up. It is a process, and we are slowly making it, the wheels of progress turn slow on these things because you have to follow the letter of the law on it when you start enforcing it on people. And we're trying to be, as understanding and generous as we can to a point. Just like one gentleman that came in that we had sent him a letter to clean up his property, and he was talking about how that he couldn't afford to pay to get it done, and he had to do it himself, and he didn't have any help. And what we told him was that as long as he was showing progress, we would let him proceed. But when he stopped showing progress, we'd be back knocking on his door again. And so we are, we're not wanting to be, overbearing to where people think we're unreasonable. We just want to get it cleaned up. That's all we want. So any way we can work with people, we're trying to work with them, but they got to do their part. So I don't want anybody to say, well, all of a sudden y'all are cracking, and I've heard this. Well, y'all let this stuff go for years, now all of a sudden you're just cracking down and you're not cutting anybody, giving anybody any kind of opportunity. But we are, and again, sometimes that may make it look like we're moving slow, but we want to be fair to both sides. As long as somebody's showing good faith to try to clean up their properties, then we're trying to let them do that. And it's much easier to let them do it and give them a few extra months than it is to try for us to have to pull our people away and go in and clean it up ourselves and then try to attach the property and all that. So, we're trying to be a good neighbor, but we're also trying to take care of the people that live in the neighborhood have to look at these properties. So we're trying to we're doing our best to take care of everybody and be fair across the board to both sides. Okay. I'm going to let Ben, he's going to talk about a salt truck that he has found. And if I recall, I think he just needs kind of to let you all know and give him a good faith promise that y'all support trying to get this truck so he can move forward on it. And, well, Ben, you can explain it better than I can about the salt truck.
Yes, the current truck that we have now is a 95 truck, and we use it on the state roads to salt with, and it's in poor shape. High gear is out of it, don't have high gear in it. It costs much to fix it and repair it for the age and everything on it. The brakes are bad on it. It's a real safety factor, and I've been looking, and I've found one online, and that one is $39,000 for it. If you'd give us okay to go ahead and see about purchasing it, and it has the snow plow on the front and also has the solder on it, and it's a 10-ton.
Okay. This is an item we would have to bid out. We do have $28,000 already budgeted in the capital fund for a truck for the street department. So what we'd like to do is to go ahead and do this bid out with the understanding we would like to pull $11,000 from the salt snow removal line. Since we've had a light winter, we want to take advantage of that and don't need to buy salt right now. Let's use that money wisely and put it towards a salt truck. So with those two line items combined, we can buy this. Of course, assuming it's still out there and that we don't get a better bid. We would still have to go to the bid, and that would be submitted at the February meeting. But this would greatly help him out been spreading the salt and then perhaps doing some other things, because those are work trucks. They're is workhorses.
What year has it been?
It's an '02.
'02.
Where's it at, Ben? A city owned it, or a county, or a state?
No, an individual truck company owned it. They had
And
it.
you're aware of the mechanical condition of the
Yes.
vehicle?
Yes, but it's in, he said that it was in good shape.
Well, if you're satisfied with it, I mean, you know what you need.
Okay.
Do you make a motion?
I'll make a motion. Second.
Got a second? Any other discussion? Do a roll call, please.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. Appreciate
That's all I got, Mayor.
it. Okay, thanks, James.
What about your other piece of equipment?
That's all, it's later on.
Okay, item 6, do you have something, Mike?
That's what I spent. Ben, we still have a pretty good surplus of salt from last year where we made that extra purchase.
We're full. Okay, yes, our bins are full. We have roughly 250 tons. So we're prepared.
Hope you don't have to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lucked out, last year, we asked, we asked to buy some more last year, and we filled up, and then we never did have to use it. So we were fortunate on that. That was a contingency thing, because we didn't know, and we were out, and so when we filled up last year, we didn't have any more use to use it, so we've still got that left over.
Has salt gone up again this year? Ben,
No,
did-
it actually went down.
Down,
Yeah, it went down a little.
Okay, item 6 is appointment of boards. There is an announcement to make concerning the police department is going to appoint Eric Gregg to replace Glenn Moore Smith, whose term expired this month. So that's just a matter of what the police department, that's their appointee. Okay, item 7, any report from the Tanner Preservation Alliance?
No, we don't know.
Thanks, Carlin. Okay, item 8, under old business. Item A is consideration of the second reading of ordinance 2015-14 to amend the zoning regulations of the city of Newport to add wireless telecommunication towers and antenna restrictions. This is the second reading. You need to read the caption.
Yes, Mayor, it's ordinance 2015-14, an ordinance to amend the zoning regulations of the city of Newport to add wireless telecommunications towers and antenna restrictions.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve on the second reading?
So moved.
Second.
Second, got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. On the second page, item B is consideration of the second reading of ordinance 2015-15 to amend the zoning regulations allowing bed and breakfast inns in the R1 low-density district, residential district, by adding to Chapter 6, Section 601. Now, that's the way that it needs to be approved, right, Mark? And then, okay. Do we have a motion to approve that on the second reading?
Well, Mayor, let me read that.
Okay, sorry,
Make sure we
Gary.
get exactly the language of that caption. It's ordinance number 2015-15, an ordinance to amend the zoning regulations of the city of Newport allowing bed and breakfast inns in the R-1 low-density district residential district by adding to Chapter 6, Section 601.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no.
No.
Okay, got one. Did you get that, Tina?
I did, thank you.
Item C, discussion of request from Frank Wilhelm to waive penalties, interest, and court costs on personal property tax from 2006, 2009 through 2014.
Well, and Mayor, of course, Mr. Wilhelm's here. He was here a month ago asking that his penalty, interest, and court costs for his personal property for the years 2006 and then 2009 through 14 be waived. He actually paid 7 and 8.
Yes.
And of course, those that aren't paid are delinquent. My research, I guess, has discovered that there has been no prior city council action approving any prior waivers of those items. I do recollect, Mr. Wilhelm refreshed my memory, I guess, that there was some discussion about waiving those penalties at some time 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But the city council didn't ever act, and there was never any court order put down waiving those. I double-checked and asked, actually, Jeff Green, who's here, we talked about it, and we checked.
Search the court records and look to see if there were any orders, and just couldn't find any.
There's been no orders, and that really there couldn't have been, since the council never voted to do it in the past. You all have the authority to waive those fees if it's your desire, and I guess that's where we're at. He's asking that you all waive those fees.
And that was basically on the fact that I've been trying to pay it and couldn't pay it because there was a glitch in the system somewhere in 2006 that I don't know what it was, and every time I tried to pay it after 2009 or 2008 or whatever it was, then they wouldn't take the payment because of something in the rears. We had a meeting here in this building, and at that time, they were going to do something with the judge. They said the judge had to sign it, and that never happened, and I've still been trying to pay it. All other taxes are paid. It's just the personal property stuff. All I've asked you to do is to waive that stuff so I can pay my taxes.
How much money are we talking about?
It's accrued to pretty good chunk.
It's right here.
Oh, okay.
It's behind the orange sheet, Roger.
The city would be waiving $641.80, is that right, Tina?
That's correct.
I believe it is, yeah. I've been trying to pay my taxes. I want to pay my taxes, but at the same time,
Now, that's just the penalties.
that's it, yeah, that's all I'm
That's
asking
the
you to do.
penalties, interest, and court costs, right?
Correct.
Tina?
And attorney's fees.
And attorney's fees.
I didn't think you could waive attorney fees.
What?
I didn't think you could waive attorney fees.
They can. I mean, then they, I know I have on them.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of properties like that, Mr. Thompson. I mean, we're gonna open up a can of worms if we,
We had, what, 100? Was it 100? Yeah.
that's what
And of course, the main issue is our system is set up in a way that if you're delinquent, you've got to pay those delinquent first before you're allowed to pay your current. That's the way the system's set up.
Evidently, somehow, and of course, it's way before my time, but somehow the system broke down when he came in 2007. If they had not been paid in 2006, they should not have been accepted in 2007 and 8. But for whatever reason, they did. The staff missed it or ignored it. I mean, I don't, who knows? I mean, it's all we do speculate. But nevertheless, the policy that was in place then is the same as what we have now, is that if you're not caught up, we don't take, we don't allow you to do this year or move forward to you taking care of what's owed in the back. So, but for whatever reason, for 2 years, they allowed him to pay.
So there's about 100 cases similar to that.
There's several. I threw 100 out.
I sent out about 125 letters concerning delinquent personal property taxes.
But they're not similar to that in the fact that there was
That gap.
this 06 year that's not paid, and then they were paid for several years, and then they were unpaid.
Well, they were
No,
paid.
that's
The
not.
ones that are on here now have just not been paid. There's
And
not that 1 year way back there that was missed, and then him not being allowed to pay. The other ones that are delinquent are just delinquent. They haven't made that payment in the middle year.
Right, and there's quite a number of them that have come forward and paid at the court and then came over here and paid at the city. So it has done some effect.
There's not a complete paper trail. Is that correct?
There's no paper trail on any court order.
There's no paper trail on this at all, on this issue.
Base taxes.
And no copy of a receipt. Our system generates a receipt if payment was taken, and there's no receipt.
241.
Tina, is this going to be something that if the council approve this, that there's going to be others that meet this situation?
I would anticipate there would be others that would come forward and ask for leniency, because there was quite a number that was sent out. There's quite a few that are delinquent. And as I've said, they're starting to slowly come forward. A lot of them are paying, and I've not heard any response. There's been no request for anything. They've just paid their bill.
Jeff, did you say this is the only case?
Now, again.
It's the only
we're talking
case I've
personal property,
seen.
so I'm not
Okay.
positive that this is the only case. But his does have a special situation in that he had a year that was delinquent. He was allowed to make these payments, and then going forward, the city has said you can't make these payments till you fix 2006. Now, this was before my time and before Mr. Hurst's time as the attorneys for the city on that, so we've gone back and researched it. But the other delinquent personal property taxes that the city is owed and that the recorder is collecting and working on collecting and sending these letters out for, I don't think have that missed, we took your money, and then all of a sudden we called you and said, oh, we forgot a year here. And I think that's where his issue is coming in, is looking back to that 06. And I don't think these other ones would have that gap in them.
There's just,
There have been
Maybe a few out there, but
There are other instances where people have paid and been allowed to pay a missed year or something
There
like
are
this.
more with gaps.
But they understood, once we explained, for some reason, the staff let it happen. In 07, 08, there was a few errors there. They need to go pay their back taxes. They did, and then they came back and paid their current.
But I don't know how many of them would be out there that have the same circumstances as this.
There were other with gaps, but they didn't ask for relief.
Right.
So if they paid theirs and there was no relief given, and this would set a precedent if the
Yes.
relief was given on this.
I would assume so, yes.
Council, what's your pleasure? Any comment, or do we have a motion to approve? I'll call one more time for a motion. Well, for the lack of a motion, there's no action. Sorry.
so what do I do?
You'd have to pay whatever's delinquent.
I don't mind paying the delinquent taxes, I've been trying to pay them all along. It's the fact that there's a glitch in the system back there, and I understand nobody on this board or whatever had anything to do with it at that time.
Well,
But at the
without a
same
motion,
time,
there's no action that can be taken, and there's not a motion, so it's where it is at, where it's at. I mean, there's no action taken, so it's dead.
okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, under new business, item A is discussion of appropriation of funds for the street sweeper repair.
Mayor, sometime back, we had a piece to fail on the street sweeper. And as a result of that, it came apart, and it did extensive damage to the street sweeper, of which we only have one. And what we would like is to ask that y'all appropriate the money to repair the street sweeper. We do not currently have money in the budget to repair it. We've got a little spreadsheet in there to show you what it costs to buy it. Right now it's estimated at $17,384 to repair it. Terry has written a letter, and I hadn't got a chance to tell him about this, something that I'd forgotten. I asked Terry to write a letter to the manufacturer of this part, and they have come back and said that they would be willing to come and look at trying to help fix it, and the cost has lowered to about $13,000 right now. So we just got that back from them. But Would ask that y'all appropriate the money to repair it. We generate about $23,000 a year on our highway maintenance contract with the state that vehicle generates. So as long as that thing's shut down, we're losing revenue from the state where we sweep the state roads inside the city. So we really do need to get that thing back up in operation. I would ask that we do the amount here, because the letter that we got back from them said they're going to run that proposal by their attorneys and folks to get it approval before that they could guarantee that they would do that. So hopefully we're going to continue trying to negotiate with them, because the part failed. The part hadn't been on the vehicle that long. We had replaced that part, and then how many months was it before it failed, Ben?
Approximately a year and 2 days.
Okay, I was thinking it was less than that. That the part failed and it shrapneled the whole inside of the back of the machine. So we're trying to pressure them into standing behind their part a little bit, and they've kind of come around in principle, but not ironclad. Like I say, they said that their attorneys have to agree to that amount.
$17,384 to repair it, is that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you need a motion to that effect?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes.
Thank you. Item B is discussion of appropriation of funds for traffic signal sensor repair.
As I know you all are aware, because I know you get complaints like I do, the traffic downtown has been jammed up for some time, and the cause of that is that when the state came through and did the repaving downtown, they ground up the streets, and in that process they ground up the loop sensors that were in the street that allows the traffic flow to control the sequence that the lights operate. Now, the mayor has been in negotiations with them since that time, trying to get them to repair it. And so and Mayor, you can speak to this, they're not going to right now. They might consider it when they put the other two lights up later this year or early next year, whenever they get to that. But the only thing that's going to kind of mitigate and help with this traffic jam up downtown is to get these loops put back in. And as you can see, it cost $1,800 per loop. There's 9 loops that were destroyed, and that's a cost of $16,200 to put those back in. And if it's y'all's pleasure to go ahead and do that, then we would ask that you appropriate the funds to repair those lights. And and speaking to, while you're considering that, just for public information, these are 2 examples of what we run into on 2 things. Now, you've got one thing that's $17,000 to fix, and then here's another one that's $16,000. That's how expensive it is for the city to operate. And to show people where a lot of people talk about, well, where does the money go? Here's where the places where the money goes. Everything that you try to fix, or when you try to replace a truck, you can see just here tonight how much we've spent in a short period of time just to maintain the status quo. And so I hope the public realizes, this helps the public to realize what it costs the city to operate.
In my discussion with TDOT on the 2 red lights, and I've mentioned this before, at one time there was a little concern about the funding, but that seems to be looking better. No guarantee on the 2 lights that at the National Bank and the library is to be, hopefully, to be let bids on June or July was the last word I got. Now, there's also, he's trying to get safety money for us that will put the sensors on poles at those 3 new red lights that we have, plus these 2. But that's up in the air. So, my suggestion would be that council go along, let's get the loops in, because traffic is horrible. And we need to get that fixed.
And that's why we'd been kind of just,
But just put better sequencing on the lights
yes, sir. Well, what it, yeah, it
Just those
allows.
three.
on those three.
Yeah, not the old ones. It allows the traffic flow to dictate the pattern, because the sensors pick up the traffic, and if there's no traffic, then it stays green the other way. But if a vehicle pulls up and sits there for so many seconds, then that triggers the sequence. But the way it is right now, we've just got it on an automatic pattern, and whether there's a vehicle there or not, it'll turn red and hold green for a street that has no vehicle sitting on it. But with the loops, it won't do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Woodlawn's terrible.
It's backing everything up, and we're getting, I get complaints all the time about it, and I know the mayor's talked about it, he has, and some of y'all have said you do, and so.
Well, I had talked with Newport Utility at one time about getting these other lights in sequence, and they were saying it'd be like $1,000 a light to get the older lights in sequence. Have y'all talked with them
They
at
can't
all
be
about-
sequenced, is what T-Dot told me, that they could not be sequenced. They're Safari Antique.
Who said that?
T-Dot, Nathan Vader. That's basically what he does, is red lights.
Yeah, but, I mean, has anybody talked to Newport Utility about?
We did. I know when some of the other aldermen were on here that were on the board down here, they talked to them about it back then, and they had looked at one way and then it wouldn't work. I know, I can't remember the terminology they used, but it wouldn't. They said that they'd looked into it and they couldn't do whatever it was they thought they could do, they couldn't do it. I don't remember, but I don't remember now the terminology on what it was called.
Well, it's like a flip phone and an iPhone. They're not,
Right.
they don't work.
Do y'all mind if I talk to Newport Utility again about what it would cost for them to get those lights, the older lights in sequence? So we can get that done if we can get it done for a reasonable amount of time. Because I just don't, T-Dot showing up in June or July I don't have any faith they will, but.
Well, a couple of these lights
But
aren't
I'll
at least
talk
50 or
with,
60 years old.
Yeah, it won't hurt to get, to see. I mean, if it's gonna take quite a bit and it's gonna take quite a while to do it, we'd be better off to wait for the freebies.
Yeah.
But that was what we were trying to do with getting the sensors in. We kept thinking T-Dot was going to move earlier, and we were trying to and then we were trying to just get them to do it, but they won't. So it's going to, if we want it put back to the way it was, we're going to have to pay for it, and we're going to have to.
They ground it up, but they won't fix it.
Well,
Those lights are how old, 50 and 60 years old?
the single lights are, yeah.
Do we have a motion to approve? To get these sensors put in?
I make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Two's better than none. Yeah. Any other discussion? Roll call it, please.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
No.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
No.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Thank you. Item C is consideration of sale of tax surplus property on 751 Thompson Street.
This is a piece of property that was sold at the last tax sale, and no one bid on it. So the property then was bid in by the county and the city at the tax sale. That's been almost 2 years ago now. The city has owned an interest in this property, and the county owns a half interest in this property. We have an offer to purchase the property from Lehman Brothers Partnership for $27,000. It's the 4 little block buildings on Thompson Street. The CLB has approved that offer, and then it's up to the city here to accept the offer. The city is owed $13,074.01 in back taxes on that property. So, and the county is owed $13,540.17 on that. And then anything above the taxes being caught up and paid would then be divided equally between the city and the county. Now, we have to run it in the paper. If you approve it, we have to run this in the paper and for 2 weeks, and run it in the paper and keep the bidding open for 2 weeks. I've already had 2 different people call me and say they're going to raise the bids on this. Don't know if they will or not, but it looks like we may have some people bidding against each other on this piece of property. But the offer at this time is for $27,000 for that Thompson Street property. And I just need your approval to run this in the paper as to whether or not you're willing to accept this offer.
I make a motion, we accept.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no.
I'll put it in the paper.
All right, thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Sid.
Item D is a consideration of approval of the Parks and Recreation cardiac arrest policy.
This is a sudden cardiac arrest policy that was went into effect by Governor Haslam on April 2015. It goes into effect January 1, and we have everything in place ready to go. We are already kind of baselined our coaches on January with our basketball coaches, and we just need to get it in place. It's just like our concussion policy.
We do the same thing with the state of Tennessee under TSSAA, and it's either do it or lose your job.
It's every public, private, and recreational service that pays a fee.
It's a good thing.
It's a 20-minute module with the test, and it's one calendar year. So,
What's your pleasure?
You don't have AEDs at the community center?
we do. We do. We have one, and it's downstairs at the gymnasium.
I make a motion to accept this policy.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brandon.
Item E is consideration of approval of Police Department adding 3 new policies to the general orders.
Actually, Mayor, 2 of those will be independent to the police department. I think the 3rd will be a joint resolution for the police and fire departments. These 2 general orders additions will bring us into compliance with the state of Tennessee. One is the policy on profiling in traffic stops and arrests, and the other is a basic requirements in making investigations into sexual assault cases that basically brings us in line with the state and sets the policy that we already follow.
What's your pleasure?
I make a motion to accept these policies.
Second.
Motion. Second.
Roger.
Yeah. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none.
Thank y'all.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your job you do.
Yes. Consideration of approval of lift assist response policy for the police and fire department.
Mayor, that's the 3rd policy that Chief Schultz just discussed.
Okay.
So I guess you've already approved it.
Okay. We have a motion to approve that.
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. Item 10, under A, consideration of bids for an asphalt heater for the street department.
I've been with the street department for 2 days, working when they were putting down the hot mix, and I saw how bad you needed this. This is really something that should have been done a long time ago, because you've wasted. You can pay for it with time and man hours, and pay for it with the asphalt you've had to throw away. So this is something that should have been done a long time ago to me.
And this is already in the budget. This is not something that you're going to have to appropriate any funds for. This was appropriated in the budget when the budget was approved. So this is just where we have asked for bids and to
So we
move
just need to
forward.
approve the bid that Ben recommends.
Yes, sir.
This is under state contract, so that's why we don't
Okay.
have to go through the formal bid process. And it would be a smart buy because it does allow for both summer and winter use, which currently we only have summer. So what he has to do when complaints come in is just wait till you get a sufficient amount of complaints about different potholes, get the mix all at once, and go around to all the areas, so people think maybe we're not responding timely. Well, there's no point in getting, you can't do anything till you have enough potholes to use the mix for. You're just wasting.
You said use a lot more men too to get that asphalt before it cools down. You can do it with a lot less people, and you're gonna save money on this before.
Which one did you recommend, Ben?
The one that's on the state contract, the 25,690.
Okay, the Stringfellow.
Stringfellow.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Do a roll call on that, please.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Thank you.
Over time, this thing will pay for itself, because you won't have a loss where you go and get the mix, and then it gets cold on you, and we had no way to reheat, to keep it warm where we could use it, and you would just lose it. So over time, this will pay for itself.
It's good to buy.
And you can do a better job.
I've seen that firsthand.
Okay, item B is consideration of bids of a forklift for recycle department.
This item was bid out. We really only had one bid come in. It was $16,900. This will be a lift capacity unit of 6,000. It's a 2003 Caterpillar. They're currently using a 1992 Nissan with only a 3,800 lift capacity. That's insufficient for what they're doing when they reinstalled the new transfer station. They didn't upgrade the lift. This lift is old enough, it doesn't have the safety features that your new units have on it now. So it's got a little bit of a tipping issue. We really need to replace it. The trade-in value is $2,100. The repair cost, as it stands right now, is $3,370. So it's already going to cost more to repair it than it's worth.
And plus, it's got a lot of issues, stuff on it that's not working. I think that, like she said, it's a major safety issue.
You said you sent it out for bids, but you only received the one bid.
Unfortunately, we only received one bid.
Is this money, is it budgeted for this?
It is not. We think we can use, there is enough money in the recycling department to pay for this without having to appropriate, because he's been without a couple of people, and when we pull those dollars plus the benefits and then a couple other line items, we're hoping to piece together enough to afford it without an appropriation. So really all we need is approval of the bid.
And then that would be in the next budget amendment we bring before y'all. That would be, the transferring of those funds would be included in the next budget amendment.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Is this a company out of Knoxville? Is it the Lilly Company?
Yes.
Yeah, they're good. I make a motion to accept this.
Do we have a second?
So moved.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd like to tell Ben and the people in the street department, I appreciate what y'all do. Y'all, every department's really trying, but y'all show special interest, and I appreciate it.
Stand. Yes.
I know the tax increase wasn't popular, but you think at some point maybe we could have some sort of an open house and let people see some of the equipment?
Sure.
See what
I think it'd be great.
the bank.
Let them what we're doing.
Right. I mean, we couldn't do this in the past. I mean, you just had to.
Do without.
Saw the Christmas parade, didn't it, Ben?
Like the backhoe, that's been a big help to you.
I thought you had a good idea. You should have brought the old one out and said, this is what we have.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
They'd be pulling it through town.
It probably wouldn't run it, had it on record, I guess.
Yeah, I think rated broke down.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Mayor, I think Tina would like to address something.
Okay.
Just real quickly, and I think Terry can probably jump in if needed. I would like to ask if anyone comes to City Hall and has an exorbitant or an excessive amount of coinage that we cannot handle, that would shut our office down for an hour, that I would like to request to be able to tell that person or anybody coming in that their banks have Coinstars. You can go change that in and bring back money without having to try to handle that, which we wouldn't be able to do without shutting our office down. If there any, we have a cash counter, so we can do cash. If somebody brings in a large quantity of just bills.
And look, if somebody brings in buckets full of loose coins, say,
that
for
would-
instance.
Does that happen to you?
No, not yet.
But it will.
We're trying to get ahead of something.
I just want to make sure.
I think we need to let them get ahead of it, guys. What's your pleasure?
It's coming.
We got a motion? Second. Second, any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. One thing before I open it up for citizens' comments, I'm going to go ahead and set February's meeting at 5 o'clock. To help.
Appreciate y'all accommodating me. If there's a chance we might lose, I might stay.
Well, let us know when we'll move it back to 5:30. Okay, the floor is open for citizens' comments.
I'd just like to
Yes.
make an announcement. Through the Office of Aging, my office here in Newport, we will be offering, making available income tax preparation free to our citizens.
You put something in the paper, you got something in the paper?
I saw that.
Thanks. Good.
Any other comments? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make motion.
Do we have a second? Second. All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. Thank you all.